Phantasm, you know. It's definitely... Oh, he dropped his Form Disruptor. Yes. Oh my gosh. Hey guys, so I just built a Phantasm and we're gonna sell it because, you know, I don't want to fly around these blingy ships because I'm just afraid I'm gonna lose it and then lose all of that work, all of that progress. So I'm gonna just play around with it a little bit for this video, and then by the time you're watching this video, we're gonna have already sold it. But we're gonna play around with it. So the first thing we're gonna do is let's go into fittings, and if you look here, there's a lot of amazing things about the Phantasm. So you get the shield field modules. I'm gonna put one of those on it, which is just awesome already. It has advanced medium laser operation bonus. I happen to be level 5 on that already, so I'm getting plus 75% medium laser damage, plus 7.5% laser tracking. Amazing. This thing is going to do some crazy damage. And then this one's even crazier. Advanced cruiser command bonus, plus 25% for every advanced cruiser command. Now, unfortunately, I am only, let's see, where am I at? I think I'm working on this right now. Here we go. So I'm 4. So that's plus 100%. Won't get that last little bonus for another 11 days. It'll be sold by then. But that's okay. We're going to still play around with it. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put some symptom lasers on this thing. So we're going to do pulse so we can get as much damage as possible. There we go. Put some pulse on there. All right, and then I'm just gonna double check real quick, make sure they're all pulsed like they should be. Perfect, okay. So our DPS is now 411, which, you know, obviously we're doing a lot of extra damage because of that plus 75%. So this is doing more than it normally would. To get that already. So let's go ahead and put on, so we'll do damage first, right? So let's just see what kind of damage we can get on this thing. I'm not going to put any rigs on it because we're going to sell it. So but let's see what kind of damage we can get without rigs. So I'm going to put 2 symptom on here. Okay, so we put 5 heat sinks on here, 2 of which are symptom heat sinks, so we're going to activate those first. We're going to put on a little level 7 drone in there. We're at 533. And then let's see, what else are we going to... We're just going to stick a few things on here, right? We're going to put... Sure, we'll put a little warp disruptor. Oh, and then we'll put the shield field module. So it's nothing really... We're not actually going to do anything with this right now, but we'll stick it on there. And then I should probably grab some... plasmoids out of, or not plasma, suspended plasma. Let's just move, here, we'll just stick it in there. Okay, let's undock. Let's make sure there's no enemies around. All right, there are no enemies around. Perfect. Okay, so we are going to make sure we are in the right. That's judgment heatsink. Okay, I want to make sure I got one of my symptom heatsinks. Here we go. Alright, I'm going to just hit approach just to make sure we stay close to it. Alright, so my 2 symptoms, they're my symptom. Okay, so hit symptom, symptom. I'm just going to activate all 5 of them. We're going to go into fittings now, and we're at over 1,000 without any rigs. So with rigs, we could easily put that up to 11, maybe 1,200. You know, so that's pretty amazing considering that it's only 4 lasers. We got only 4 lasers. We're able to get up to over 1,000 damage, and that's just because of that crazy boost, that plus 75% boost. It's essentially like having 7 lasers. Even though you only have 4. So that's pretty amazing. It's also lower on your capacitor, it lower on the hit, it just harder hits with each laser. So that's pretty cool. But let's go ahead and switch it up, because one of the things that we've got to do with the Phantasm is we've got to have an afterburner on it, because it's just such a huge part of this ship. I do kind of want to see. Okay. Before we do this, so I want to do a test with the afterburners to see how fast it's going to actually end up going. You can see here that, look at this. Flight velocity adjustment, 306%. That's practically a micro warp drive, but it's an afterburner. So we're going to play around with this. I cannot wait to play around with this. But before we do that, I do want to see how high we can get the defense value on this thing. Because right now, we're at 2,400. I think we can get it a lot higher than 24,000. Let's see what we can get the EHP on this thing. We're going to just hit all of this stuff. So, okay. All right. Click, 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 click. All right, let's see what the EHP is on this thing. And the defense is 200,000. It's because of that shield field module. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That is ridiculous. 200,000. And look at that shield field module. Look how cool that thing looks. Oh my gosh. Anything in that field will get protected by me at this crazy, 60%, something like that. What is it at? 56% resistance to all shields in that bubble. Isn't that amazing? That just is such a huge area. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I love that. Okay. That is so cool. All right, we're going to hit cancel, 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 cancel. All right, let's just dock up. Okay, so now we're going to play around with the afterburner, and the afterburner is such a big deal. I am just so excited to see what happens with this. All right, so we're gonna actually leave two of these on, because we do want it to be tanky. We're gonna take it out, so we're gonna go ahead and put a warp core stabilizer, because if I lost this ship, I would be devastated, because this is like a 3 billion ISK ship. It is just really expensive. We'll go ahead and put on a little boost, shield repair as well. And then for the final thing, we're going to put this Centum medium afterburner. Okay. So, which, as you can see, the Centum medium, 306% velocity. It is practically a micro warp drive. The Phantasm takes essentially what is it makes it basically a micro warp drive out of an afterburner. So, all right, let's go. Let's group these guns together and move this over here. I don't need to have it like perfect. So, okay, let's go to a little anomaly. Let's just go to something simple. We're gonna just go to this level 5 small anomaly. Ooh, what is that? Kenyu Star. What you up to, Kenyu? Where are you gonna go? Oh, I already warped off. All right, that's fine. Okay, so we're gonna shoot this thing. Focus fire. This Corsair. Let's see what we can do with it. It's taking a while to lock because of that. All right, so doing some damage. I want to put my afterburner on, and I'm gonna hit orbit. Oh, Kenyu. What is Kenyu doing here? Lock. Unlock. Can you... Alright, can you? You want to fight me? We'll fight. Here we go, can you? You want to fight with the Phantasm? You can fight with the Phantasm. What in the world is he even thinking? I want to kill his little punk. What in the... What? I don't know what he was thinking there. He wanted to fight a Phantasm. You mess with the Phantasm, you... Okay, whatever. So we're going to approach these guys. So I'm going... You can see here... Hold on, let me turn around. You can see here, I'm going 1,100 meters a second at almost 1,200 meters a second as a cruiser with just an afterburner. That is I mean, that feels like a micro warp drive, honestly. So, all right, we're going to orbit this guy at 7 and shoot him. To warp or not to warp? What in the world? That guy was crazy. All right. Well, he'll be in the video. Okay, so yeah, we're just going really fast. So, all right, let's do some focus fire on these guys. But you're seeing basically we're going 1,200 meters per second, which is pretty amazing. Oh wait, I need to loot Kenyu's thing. Let's see if okay, actually I want to go see if he dropped that warp disruptor. And we can go really fast, so we're going to just burn over there real quick. So I'm kind of happy with the damage that I'm doing with the Phantasm, you know. It's definitely... Oh, he dropped his warp disruptor. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, that is awesome. Okay. Oh man, that is really awesome. What a dork. I mean, to be to take on a Phantasm with a Venture 3. I just don't know what he was thinking. I'm wondering if he's going to come at me with his... I know he has a pretty powerful battle cruiser, the little one that you can get free. You know, the free version. And so I'm a little worried about that just because, you know, I'm new to this ship. I don't want to mess with... Okay, I'm going to heal. But I also have a warp stab, so I have 4 points of warp stab, so I should be fine. Okay, I need to be orbiting these guys. What am I doing? You know what, just for the sake of this, you know, tutorial, I'm gonna go into my settings and I'm gonna make sure that I'm auto orbiting. It's not good for PvP, but it's nice in this situation because I don't have to think about like what am I doing. It just automatically orbits them. So, all right. So, I should probably be... Ooh, my capacitor's getting low. That's not good. Alright, well... Oh, that's because I'm healing. Man, those shields, they just really burn through your capacitor. It's shield repairs. Okay, so we did it. We finished this out. I'm going to go ahead and loot it. But then I'm going to do one more thing that I'm really excited about doing. It might break the game. or it might not do anything. We'll find out. But we're about to find out. So we hit 1170 meters per second with this Centum medium afterburner. Hit loot. Now, so let's go to station and let's hit dock. I'm glad I have that warp stab on there, because if, you know, it was in Adventure 3, but if there had been anything that had attacked me that I would have been worried about, it was, you know, nice that I had that. So, okay. So what I am really excited about trying to see what it's going to end up looking like. You can see that we are only using, we're using barely any of our power grid, right? We're using 700 out of 1,400 power grid, okay? So we got a room to do some bigger stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this medium afterburner with a large Centus C large afterburner. The benefit, 153, the benefit says the same, 153, 153. But I have a feeling that it's going to mess with the mechanics of the game. Oh, we are just short, just a little bit. So I'm going to take this off. I think that's going to make enough. Yes, okay, we're good. So I guess I'll put a web on there or something. Okay, so there we are. We've got 18, was that 18 power grid to spare? Okay, we have a large afterburner on this thing. I really want to know if it's going to change how quickly we can move in this ship. So, all right. I don't know why I'm nervous. We're going to go to another kind of easy one. Here we go. We're going to warp. You know what? Let's warp 100K out. I don't know why. It's dumb. We don't need to be doing that, but we will. I really want to know how fast we're going to be able to go in this thing. Now, it's probably going to use a lot more capacitor. I probably should have put a little battery in there, but hopefully we'll get a pretty good feel for how fast it's going. All right, there we go. So we got the anomaly. We're going to hit go, and we're going to hit focus fire on this guy, and we'll see when it says orbit or not. Focus fire. Are you going to orbit? Okay, we're orbiting. So now let's turn on this thing and see how fast we go. I really hope it modifies it. We'll see what happens. Oh, yes, it's working. It's working. Holy crap. Look how fast we're going. It just keeps going up. Oh my gosh, we just got over 2,000 meters per second. This is breaking the game. We're at 2,200 meters per second. Oh my gosh. Nothing could hit us at this speed. There is no way. Look, these frigates can't even track us because we are going so fast. I need to put some beams on this thing. But then the beams require a little bit more. Oh my gosh. That is crazy. Okay, I really want to know how fast. Okay, I don't really care about this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit approach to the station. And I want to see how fast this thing can go by just moving. So let's see. All right. No. Approach. All right, we're aligning. Come on. We're going 2000, just doing a little bit of orbiting. So we'll see what happens here. Oh no, capacitor's getting low. I mean, this makes sense. Okay, I'm going to shut these other things off. Hopefully the capacitor can handle it. All right, let's see how fast we can go. Oh my gosh. We just hit 2,300 meters per second. Oh my gosh. That is insane. Are we going to hit 2,400? I think we're going to hit it. 2,400 meters per second. This is faster than a frigate with a micro warp drive at this point. Oh my goodness. I really want to know how fast I'm going to get. We're running out of capacitor, but I think it's kind of stopping at this point. Around 2,440. Wow. This is crazy. And here's the thing, guys. Like, this is totally breaks the game. I could easily put a battery on here. Okay, let's go back to the station real quick. Let's go back to the station. And I'm going to build this out and show you guys how ridiculously OP this is. All right. So here we are. So now that we've learned that we can go 2,400 meters per second with this large, I want to show you guys a little bit of what this thing is capable of. So really, when you're going that fast, and I mean, the signature radius on this thing is only 90. And so going that fast, nothing is going to be able to track us. We are going to be invincible. So basically what we can do, we obviously need a better capacitor. So we could go in here. We don't really need a warp core stabilizer. Nothing can keep up with us. We could just outburn everything. And so we could go in here and let's put on a better battery. Where's my battery? There it is. Okay, so we got a battery in there. Okay, well we're dealing a little bit of issues with. Okay, let's unfit. None of these have power grid requirements. Okay, how are we doing now? Okay, so here's the thing that we'll have to do. We'll have to get the rigs, the engineering rigs, to put on, extra power grid, because you gotta have a little bit more power grid. You're gonna need more power grid for beams. So if we're gonna beam fit this thing, which in my opinion, well, let's see. Actually, I don't know if this is possible to do because we're using so much of the power grid. I would also want to put some tracking computers on there so that we can outrange people. My initial thought was we would outrange people, and then, if they try to get close to us, we could just keep outranging them because we could burn away from them. But I'm starting to think that might not be possible in the current setup because these tracking computers require a lot of power grid, and we're already desperate on power grid because we're using a large afterburner. So I think we should stick with pulse. I think if you're going to do this, you'd stick with pulse. I mean, you could go lighter. I mean, I'm using Centum stuff, which is going to require a lot more power grid, so we could move to some Navy beams, and that would make it, it would sacrifice some of the damage, but it would make it a lot easier on the power grid requirements. I could use not a Centus large afterburner, honestly. With how much it helps, I could easily see us using just let's see what the power grid requirement on this is 878. Let's go to the market real quick and let's see what the power grid requirement would be. Smuggler. The power grid requirement on this is almost 160 less. So that's a huge, it is so much less. And it's going to be a lot less flight velocity, about 20 less. So maybe I'd recommend going up to like a Ranger. What is the Ranger at? That's somewhere halfway in between. And the power grid requirements 100 more. So figuring out somewhere in there, honestly, even if you're just getting up to like 2,000, nothing's going to hit you. You don't have to get to 2,400 before nothing's going to be able to touch you. Nothing's going to be able to catch you. So, you have to play around with what would be the best fitting for this, but to have that kind of speed is just absolutely overpowered. And so you could play around with what kind of, beam fit or pulse fit you want. But the only reason I wouldn't say pulse fit's going to be the ideal is because, you're going to have to, if you get up close to someone, they can web you, which slows you down a lot. But you can see here on the optimal range, we've got 14K. If I added a tracking computer on these pulse, then that would put it out of web range, unless they were in like an Ashimu or something. And then you'd be going so fast that no one's going to be able to catch you even one away. So yeah, I definitely think beam fitting it here. So let's move down to just some Navy beams, right? This is going to actually be less on the capacitor. It's going to lower our damage a lot. It's going to make us, really lower how much damage we're doing. But you'll see here that now our optimal range is at 25K. So we could get 25K away from someone and just be burning around them, and they would not even be able to close in a little bit. With that kind of speed, with 2,400 speed, they're not going to stand a chance. And then we could get some power grid rigs, which increase by 15%, depending on which one. And so that's going to be an extra 140, and that would give us enough room to put on a battery, which will help us, keep that capacitor going longer. Though, honestly, I was running a lot of other things that I didn't need to be running. I won't need to run that adaptive shield hardener because no one's going to be able to even hit me, and so there's not really a point of even running it. So I still think you need a battery or at least some rigs that help with capacitor, but it's not, it's definitely doable to make that work. But then you still want that power grid rig so that you could put like maybe a tracking computer on there, so that you can put a few other things to just make yourself a little bit tankier. You'd want to be able to do some more damage, so maybe having a heat sink on there. But you see kind of how OP this thing is. You could put on, 2 warp disruptors. We got our new warp disruptor that we got from that guy. And so there's 2 warp disruptors. You could put 4 points on someone, spinning around them at 27 and just keep, that's pretty much our optimal range. So I'm really liking where this is going. Our optimal range is about 25. Our warp disruptors around 25. So we put 4 points on them. We spin around them at 25. They can't close the gap. So unless their optimal range is 25, and even if their optimal range is 25, there is no way that their tracking is going to be able to keep up with 2,400 meters per second. That is just absolutely ridiculously speed. Nothing is going to be able to shoot that. And so you literally don't even need defensive items unless, you get ganked by multiple people and then they can web you down and then you're screwed. But if you are careful and you make it to where you're only choosing solo engagements, or maybe you put a warp, the problem with putting a warp core stabilizer on your ship is because it's going to make it a lot harder for you to, lock someone and then, put a warp disruptor on them. So, but it's still maybe worth it because, again, you don't want to lose a 3 billion ISK ship. So you know, it's one of those things that you're going to have to play around with it, but having 2,400 meters per second is just, I'm telling you, there is nothing in the game can track that and shoot that. It's way too fast to be touched. As long as you're going that speed, nothing will ever be able to hit you, which is just incredibly overpowered. And so trying to make a combination to work with that, you know, large afterburner on there is just going to absolutely break the game. And I'm not even at advanced cruiser command level 5. That would be another 25%. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I mean, we're talking about like almost 3,000 meters per second, like something like 2,700 meters per second. If I got that. And I keep thinking of more things, but I just realized my skills for afterburners suck. Look at this. I've only got 3 levels of afterburner skills. So, oh my gosh. So I think that if you afterburner velocity bonus, yeah. So honestly, if you had the skills, you could get a Phantasm to get up to 3,000 meters per second. That's crazy. That is crazy. Ah, man, if some of you got the skills, I really hope you do it and you show us all, because this is the most ridiculous thing I've seen. All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. I just had a blast. Now we're going to go sell this thing. And if you want to buy it, then you can, you know, have your OP ship. All right, guys. See you next time.